So Rachel, I want to tell you a story.
I like stories. Story time.
Story time. So as I'm heading over here, I wake up in the morning, my internet craps out, so it puts me about 10 minutes behind, when we're supposed to record. And I know you're a very punctual person. You don't like people making you wait or anything. So I feel bad. So I'm like,
it's
all
like
right.
one of my biggest pet peeves is people being
it's
late.
It's the German in you for sure. And I'm like, oh, I hate making Rachel wait for me. It's bad, business partner, bad friend. So I'm on my way here and I'm like, even though it might make me like an extra 5 minutes late, I want to make it up to Rachel. I want to make her feel like better. So I'm swinging by and I see in the distance the Golden Arches in front of me.
Huh.
And I'm like, you know what? Rachel, she loves her McDonald's. I'm going to go in. I'll pick her up something on the way here just to make her day. So
some hash brown.
And I know that you love, and it's funny that you bring that up because that probably would have been a good solution because you know how I know you love chicken nuggets. You love your chicken nuggets.
I love the Chimpkins.
You love the Chimpkin nuggets. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get Rachel some chicken nuggets. Just to hope it's my peace offering, making her wait 10 minutes. I hate it. I go in there and I go to because I hate human interaction, I go to the little kiosk or whatever.
Yeah.
And apparently, and keep in mind, this is at this point, this is about 9:30 a.m. or whatever.
There are no chicken nuggets at that hour.
McDonald's doesn't rev up the fryers for chicken nuggets all day.
Till 11.
But I'm like, you use the fryers for the hash browns. Just chuck a couple chicken nuggies in there.
Just throw the Chimpkins in.
So I was planning on yes, I had made you wait 10 minutes, but I was going to be a hero coming in with a 10-pack of chicken nuggets, being like, here you go. And I just wanted you to know that my heart was in the right place and that McDonald's let you down this morning.
Unbelievable. Yeah, McDonald's breakfast goes until 11 now.
Mostly in all normal restaurants, it goes all day.
Oh.
But it just so happens the one near you, it's only until 11.
Interesting.
Because, and I learned that the hard way because the first time we ever recorded a podcast here in our new studio / your condo, and your mom was here and she ordered us she ordered us McDonald's, which was lovely.
Yeah.
Shout out Karen. Love it.
Karen is thebomb.com.
She is. She was like, oh, maybe I could go for breakfast. I'm like, you know what, Karen, that's a great idea. We should get
right.
We should do some all day. And I'm like, they have all day breakfast. We're living in the 21st century, baby. This is the way of the world now.
And she was so excited.
She was so excited. And to see the heartbreak on her face as she realizes that the one McDonald's location near you, the infamous Queen and Spadina McDonald's, that's vague enough that I'm not doxing you. Don't worry. Is the only one that doesn't have.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I literally live in Fort Knox.
That's
you're
true.
not
You're not getting in
here.
Unless you seduce James at the front desk, which I have many times. No, but it's a shame. So McDonald's, what are you doing? Just either sponsor us or chuck in a couple chicken nuggets for my friend Rachel.
Preferably sponsor us, though.
But preferably sponsor us. That would be the ideal sponsorship, right?
Well, yeah, because I would just wear my chicken nuggets hoodie every day on the show.
Even though our podcast is doing well, it would immediately become financially untenable for them. We would, if we got sponsored from McDonald's, they'd be like, "Oh, great! This will bring us so much business." Then they'll be like, "Wait, your co-host is eating all our product. We're gonna go out of business. What is happening here?" But yeah, here we are. It's a hockey podcast, Rachel.
It is a hockey podcast.
We might as well talk about hockey. So, Rachel, this whole podcast will be about the Leafs and the Oilers, two teams that had Stanley Cup aspirations and that basically have just not been contenders.
They've not been performing up to snuff.
Now, we have to let's be very clear here, though, that one team is performing a lot worse than the other.
Yeah.
One team has 5 points, and it is November 9th that we're recording this now, and the other team has 14. So,
it's not the same.
3 times as many, but these are both teams based on where the expectations are. Obviously, there's a lot to improve here. Now, the Leafs, let's start with them. Because they allegedly played hockey last night.
Allegedly.
And I was there, but also allegedly, because it was not a great performance by them.
The overhit, though.
Hey, well, there you go.
I feel like games between the Leafs and Sens and Leafs and Habs are just utter chaos.
The Sens play the Leafs so hard, always. They really do.
You can tell that there's like a different level there. It seems like there are a few teams where that's the case. The team coming in on Saturday is another one.
Yes.
And they can't even deny it because like I worked for that organization and I fully know that that is the mindset. From everyone, from the owner all the way down. Like that's the only, did you know that is the only game that Francesco Aquilini flies to in his jet?
Wow.
He flies to Toronto for every time the Leafs are playing the Canucks at Scotiabank
Maybe
Arena.
he's just being an environmentally conscious king by not taking his jet everywhere at every game.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll go with that.
But yeah, you're right. Ottawa seems to...
They always play the Leafs hard.
And I mean, probably good that their best players, I guess, looking at the box score, seem to show up because both Claude Giroux and Brady Tkachuk called the fans out for being... And just were like, settling it down.
And Stützle played very well last night. You know, like it was, you know, Chychrun got 2 points. You know, like it was very good. The thing though is,
just for the record, I did not watch the game. I was having dinner with my mom.
And for the record, I was covering the game there. So
who had the better night?
So I'm gonna say you. Two completely different ends of the spectrum here, but the Leafs had a very like sort of leafy night, I would say. Bad goaltending. They did get a little bit more secondary scoring. Tyler Bertuzzi scored and Nick Robertson also scored. And shout out Nick Robertson, 2 points in 2 games.
He's looked good. I didn't see him last night, but
he's looked very good. He looked really good last night even. Like he has changed that third line.
Is he still going into the corner like a bowling ball, or have we learned a little bit?
He's angling a bit more, which is good. Well, he hasn't gotten absolutely demolished yet. So there you go. But the defense was horrible. We're going to get into that in 1 second. Joseph Woll had an off night. Keep in mind, he did enter the game with a .930 save percentage, which dating back to last year, he also, last year, I believe he also had a .926.
Okay, so he's allowed a bad game.
He's allowed a bad game.
Not going to be angry about that.
He was very like upfront about it, took responsibility, but didn't do the whole Jack again. Another foreshadowing. Jack Campbell, like, you know, I hate myself. I've never done anything good in my life. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. But you take accountability and you're like, hey, we move on and we're gonna get it together. That's that is maturity.
So, but this, after the game, this was the most candid I have ever seen Sheldon Keefe, like ever.
Interesting.
Some of the quotes that he brought up, and there's one in particular that I want to that I want to highlight, and I love how my phone.
And don't worry, we are gonna talk about the William Nylander subway situation because there's so many different elements to it. There's where he was, like, what line he was on, which we can tell from the subway. Mm-hmm. The dude who was down super bad.
Yeah, brutal.
But tell me about Sheldon Keefe.
So this was a quote from Sheldon Keefe from last night. I observed it in person, but I will read it to you. He goes, "We sit in here and we celebrate guys who score and put up big numbers and score a ton and all that kind of stuff. We don't talk enough about what we give up. That's the reality. We've got to prioritize keeping the puck out of our net."
Oh.
And on top of that, there were a couple other ones, and that, and keep in mind, like that is, I think, as candid as it gets there. And basically, when it comes to the penalty kill,
it's bad,
which is really bad. It is operating at, I have the number here, 71.3%.
Yeah, not acceptable.
League average is like roughly 79-80%.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
Funnily enough, before you get, like, this is just, he'll never watch this, so it doesn't matter. But Steve Simmons is on a questions heater this year because we're talking to Keefe in the morning and we're asking about the penalty kill, and Simmons goes like, "Would you want the penalty kill to, like, ideally, would you want it to like hover around 80%?" And just Keefe goes like, 100% would be nice.
Yeah. Would you like to give up goals 20% of the time? No.
What do you think he is going to answer to that? Do you think he's going to like, yeah, I would love to give up 20%. I'd love to give up goals on 20% of the penalties that we take. That'd be great. Hilarious. But the penalty kill was bad last night. But
what the hell, man?
I know. It makes no sense. But the main story, John Klingberg.
Was he bad?
John Klingberg had and I didn't watch a lot of games. I didn't watch any really like Ducks games last year, because
why would you?
Because I hate myself. I don't hate myself that much. But I would have to assume that he played like his worst game of the last like calendar year last night. There's a clip.
Man,
actually,
he played for the Ducks last year.
I need to send you a clip.
Oh,
I want to do I want to do reaction. But I will take this. I will, as I'm searching for the clip, I will explain the
William Nylander.
Well, actually, I want to talk. I want to keep it on John Klingberg right now, just for a second, because so Klingberg, he was on for 4 goals against last night.
That's bad.
It was just an absolutely horrible concoction. He was, like the Leafs, they need more from him. He's not giving it.
Well,
to
if
him.
you're gonna be booty cheeks defensively, then you better be elite offensively.
Exactly, and he's not scored yet. He's not being what they need. And so, like Keith makes it a big point in saying like there's a lot of guys that we need more from, and like Klingberg was one of them. And we need guys to like sort of simplify their game. And so and someone asked, I think it might have been Alter, asked
shout out Alter, friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show. What does he need to, what does Klingberg need to do to simplify his game? Or like what does Klingberg need to do? And Keith goes, we need to protect him better. And so here's a stat.
I was going to say, I don't think they can.
So here's a stat. Entering tonight's action.
Okay.
Which was last night. So entering last night's action. This is from Kevin Papetti. He quote tweeted my tweet. So I want to give him a shout out for that. Entering tonight's action. There were 188 defensemen in the NHL with 100 plus minutes logged at 5-on-5.
Okay.
188 defensemen. John Klingberg has started just 5.6% of his shifts with a defensive zone faceoff this year.
Whoa, that's like nothing.
That means he's getting 95% offensive zone starts.
Or like, yeah,
pretty much
5% defensive zone starts. Yeah.
That ranked 187 of 188 total defensemen with 100 minutes. There is literally not much more Keefe can do when it comes to protecting him. They are protecting him about as much as you possibly can protect an NHL player in the game of hockey. Like literally, they're like, unless they give him 100%, which means he gets 0% of his shifts with the defensive zone start.
But that doesn't stop for like teams from playing in the defensive zone if he's playing poorly. Like it just means he doesn't start there. Like that's not going to do anything. Okay, I can't believe we're already here, but I'm going to ask Mike this question because he's probably the best person to ask. Mike?
Could have just stopped the best person, but okay.
Look me in the eyeballs. Would you prefer John Klingberg or Justin Hall? Mike is going to stab me.
Next question. Like
neither of them.
It's not even
Topi Niemela.
That's not even a...
Actually, you know who I'd prefer, Mike?
Who?
Matt Dumba.
Or like...
Because let's just talk about that for a second.
Okay.
John Klingberg was signed on the first day of free agency. 1 year, 4.15. And you know what? I like his offense. Fine. It hasn't been there. But we all knew his defense was questionable at best. And Matt Dumba was not signed until late August, like after Civic Long Weekend. And he was signed for $3.9 million. So if you were to trade for Matt Dumba right now, you would save like $250,000 on the cap.
You know how
just
much
straight up.
Would you like to save $250 or like you said $250,000
on the cap,
or would you like to save roughly $3 million?
Well, yeah, obviously.
With Erik Gustafsson, you keep him. He has, I believe, he has 3 goals, 8 points.
Right, but if we're talking, I was, yeah, you're right, but I was thinking more strictly like if you want someone that can actually play defense, Matt Dumba is a better option.
So
there. Clearly, anybody is a better option there.
Here we go. I want to do a little reaction, or a quick reaction vid.
Am I supposed to put like my coaching hat on?
I'm not sure how much coaching you can really do with the sequence, but I just texted it to you.
Okay.
It's a clip.
Okay.
It's like 19 seconds. This is of the Leafs. This is of the 2-1 goal. It's 13 seconds long.
All right.
I want you to watch this clip.
Okay.
Let's get a reaction of Rachel here. This is what happened on the 2-1 goal. Now I want you to watch that again. I'm not sure if it's looped back again, but I want to watch it again, and I want you to only watch number 3.
Okay, so we have a fall down.
Yep.
We have Marner stopping skating. We have Klingberg. I don't even know what's happening there.
He just gets up and he just stands still.
So the only player in that picture that was even remotely doing their job properly was Matthew Nyes. That was it. Mark Giordano got caught way out in left field.
And Mark Giordano is 83 years old.
And I'll cut him some slack. John Klingberg looked like, you know, when you get a bunch of children on the ice.
Oh yeah, and they just follow the puck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and they just spin around. He looked like Mason, Jeremy's
How
to Hockey's kid.
The sausages kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is like 9 years old now. Apparently.
No, we're too old. We're old.
Yeah.
But that is like, and I'm glad we obviously can't put that clip up because we don't own the NHL rights.
But you need to go find that goal.
Unless Rachel made a deal in between podcasts I don't know about.
It is the Sens 2-1 goal.
That was sort of like the.
That looks like a defenseman that doesn't belong in the NHL, frankly.
And here's the thing. They cannot, with their injuries on defense right now, they can't scratch them because they
can't scratch Klingberg when they go to Sweden anyways because that would be super offside.
Like you already have Liljegren missing those games and he was supposed to have like 100 family members or something watch him. Like,
please tell me he's still going.
I'm assuming he's gonna still go.
Okay.
If Connor Timmins is traveling with them, which he is, then I'm assuming Liljegren is still going.
Because that would be.
He'll just be in like a full body cast when he's there the whole time, but still. But like
that's so unfortunate.
It's the worst timing,
I hate
dude.
that.
It's the worst. But like you can't, even with their personnel, like it doesn't matter. Like you can't scratch them because I mean Jake McCabe is likely gonna come back either Friday or Saturday. So that kind of gives you some sort of like help there.
Can you go Riley Brody?
Yeah.
And then to like ease McCabe back into the lineup, can you do McCabe Klingberg so that maybe he has a bit more of a stable defense partner?
You want to ease McCabe back in the lineup by making him be paired with John Klingberg?
No, you just play him less is kind of what I meant.
You want to ease McCabe back in the lineup by strapping a nuclear bomb to him?
It's him or TJ Brody.
Well, I think at this point you got to do something. Like,
or you could just say F it, we ball and make Klingberg Riley a pairing and like.
They already do that when they're down, which is
so fun.
They already do that when like they're pushing, when score effects have turned and they're like down by 2 with 5 minutes left and they somehow come back. Like that's what all of their
like. Why don't they just have 1 F it we ball pair and 2 we're gonna actually participate defensively pairs?
But then one of those participate defensively pairs is gonna involve like, and I think he's been fine, but like William Lagesson and like Simone Benoit, like. Which and for a little
Jesus Christ.
For a little bit of a stretch last night, Rachel and I tweeted about this. Like they paired Benoit and Klingberg together, and I'm like, man, if you can tap into the success of the 2022-2023 Anaheim Ducks, you simply have to do it. Like,
yikes, man!
It's tough.
How is Simone Benoit a better option than Toby Niemela?
Because Toby's not ready. You have to keep him marinating. It's his first full North American season. You cannot call him up and like they wouldn't even call up like it took them forever to call up like Philip Kral,
or Travis Dermott. I remember that took forever.
Like they clearly have a plan for him, and
fine, I'll allow it.
And Niemela,
okay, then make a trade.
Yeah. So we were talking about this before, not Monday, last Friday's episode, so 2 episodes ago. About how like we wouldn't be shocked if there is a trade over the weekend, and now we're back to another weekend, and I still wouldn't be shocked if there's a trade over the weekend. Like
Brad, I'm gonna need you to make a trade. Get yourself to a Boston Pizza and make a trade, please.
They legitimately need they need another. I would say in a perfect world they need like another forward, and we'll get into that in a second. But like they desperately
call up your buddy in Calgary. And bring me one of
here we go.
Chris Tanev or Noah Hannafin. I don't want Nikita Zadorov.
Yeah,
but
that seems to be the name that's...
In a pinch, I'll allow it.
Sure.
But Chris Tanev would be my,
You know why I would allow Nikita Zadorov?
Because he is a bowling.
Because he'll hit everybody. He'll do what Reeves said he was going to do and hasn't. And again, we'll get into that in 1 second.
And is actually better.
Yes. And number 2 is, as we've known from his quotes in the media this season, he will not be putting up with any nonsense.
No.
If a player isn't pulling his weight, or if there is, like a disconnect of some sort, like he will be blunt about it.
And I kind of think that this dressing room could use a little bit of that.
I think they need a guy to go in and be like, last season it was Daryl is the problem. Daryl not here no more. Like we need the like that's what he said.
Okay, I have a new idea.
Okay, hit me.
Chris Tanev and Nikita Zadorov.
Sure, but then what do you give up? Because both of them are pending UFAs. Keep in mind, like there's no like so you would. But then like that also stipulates that Calgary has made the decision that they're going to punt.
Well, if you're not re-signing them, you've made that decision already.
Well, no, because they're trying to keep the band together. Like they were.
No, they've put everything on hold.
Yeah, but like that means that they are considering it. Like putting things on hold doesn't mean that they are like they haven't pulled out. They've just put things on hold. They're like, we need to reevaluate our situation, like kind of give it a few games and really see if we can bring this back together.
Yeah.
But like, and so
I just think Tanev specifically would be perfect. One of the best penalty killers in the league.
Absolutely.
2, excellent defensively. He's also proven he can play with
great right shot.
Yeah, he can prove he can play with I like kind of erratic defenseman, because when Quinn Hughes came into the league, he was not very good defensively. And Chris Tanev helped stabilize him. Now Quinn has become an unbelievable two-way defenseman. But for those first couple of years, Tanev, and Quinn talks about it, really stabilized him. So if there is any defenseman in the league that can stabilize John Klingberg, it might be Chris Tanev.
But they're both right shots, though.
Yeah, but Chris Tanev, well, then
it really does seem like TJ Brody.
So then, yeah, it's got to be TJ Brody
and then Tanev Riley. Yeah.
Oh, I would like
and
that.
And that's a great. Those are.
I'd be down.
And then you can like if once Liljegren comes back, you can do the Gio Liljegren kind of.
McCabe.
Oh yeah, there's McCabe there too. But that gives you options, because right now they don't have options. Like right now,
you do McCabe Liljegren, and then you just give Gio like spot options, or frankly, you take Klingberg out of the lineup and you put Gio in. Yeah. Like sorry,
like right now they have such a dearth of options that like on Saturday, they called up Max Lajoie, and as a defenseman, they played him less than 5 minutes. You can't. What's the point?
That is literally unused. Like no.
What's the point? You cannot play a defenseman less than 5 minutes. You can't play a forward less than 5 minutes. Like if Ryan Reeves logs less than 5 minutes, that's like even as bad as he is.
Unless you're giving those extra 2.5 minutes to like Matthews and Nylander combined, I'll like.
But they're also driving those two into the dirt right now.
Exactly.
Like they need. That's why the secondary scoring needs to come out, because you don't want by the time the playoffs roll around those guys to have nothing left in the tank. They're
to be broken.
They're playing like 23 minutes a night.
Yeah, Matthews was
November.
Matthews was broken in the playoffs last year. Like actually being held together by duct tape.
Like he couldn't shoot. It's. Like you can't do it. And even on top of Gio, like Gio has to play in the top 4 right now. The guy's 40.
Yeah, that's not feasible.
Like he's 40 years old.
Maybe Noah Hannafin is the best option then.
Yeah, but then that's going to cost so much. He's going to cost.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I think somebody like
and he's
Chris,
a pending UFA, and it's just
that's why I think the Chris Tanev option might be the best option, just because he's going to cost a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is bad. Could have just signed Matt Dumba.
Or re-sign Gustafsson. I'm cool.
No, but he's not good defensively.
Or both. Yeah, neither is Klingberg.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
If you're gonna have a pure offensive defense, they clearly want.
Then yes, Gustafsson.
Then like Gustafsson makes like $3 million less.
Yeah, it's not
why?
good.
Why?
I hate it.
Or like with that savings, you could just do both.
Yeah.
Don't sign Reeves and do Dumba and Gustafsson.
Man, that Reeves contract is.
I wonder if they go after Dumba at the deadline. He seems like a deadline guy. He's only on a 1-year deal.
Oh, he is going to be a deadline guy.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like Zucker.
You know who else is going to be a deadline guy that I'm super scared of?
Who?
Tyler Myers.
That seems like a Brad Treliving. Like that seems like cat.
It is my sincere hope that the Vancouver Canucks are firmly in the playoff picture come trade deadline.
So they don't sell?
So that they do not trade Tyler Myers, because I just have the worst feeling about that. And it's nothing against Tyler Myers, but no thank you.
That seems, if the Canucks like fall off a cliff, because that's the only way.
If Thatcher Demko gets hurt,
that's the only way that they would trade anyone.
Yeah.
Because I think they banked enough points that they will at least be around,
unless
like they
Demko
completely
gets hurt.
fall off a cliff. And after the Panthers, one of the run that they did last year, a lot of teams who are within like 5-6 points of that final playoff spot by the deadline, I feel like those guys are going to buy instead of sell.
Yeah, the Canucks owner is one of those dudes that's like,
You'll
you
be like,
must
well,
buy.
they do it, why can't we do it?
Yes.
You know? And then they will buy. Like holy Toledo, Rachel. It's going to be an interesting deadline. But yeah, so let's go to Reeves now, because Reeves is
he had a 0% expected goals for. He can't skate.
He's not playing. That's the thing.
He can't skate. Like, let's call it what it is.
Yes, he can.
He is too slow. He is a liability on the ice. I'm sure he's fantastic in the dressing room, but we've had this conversation on this podcast before. Your leadership means diddly squat if you cannot be a remotely useful player on the ice. Like Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau were at least useful. Elevated contracts, but NHL hockey players.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Thornton a little less towards the end there.
Right, but
he still got an NHL contract after that season.
That's what I'm saying. NHL
on the President's Trophy winner.
And also Hockey Hall of Famer.
Oh, like
you get slack.
Yeah, you should vote him in right now. Like
you get slack for that. I don't care if he brings pizzazz or anything like that. You know who brings pizzazz? Tyler Bertuzzi, Max Domi, Nick Robertson, Morgan Riley, all have pizzazz. Jake McCabe, pizzazz. If you want pizzazz so badly, go out and get Nikita Zadorov. Somebody like that. We need to stop allowing and being okay with the fact that this team, or any team, frankly, is icing players for dressing room reasons that aren't NHL hockey players, which brings me to my theory.
Hit me.
Sheldon Keefe has really only ever worked for Kyle Dubas. Sault Ste. Marie, the Marlies, the Leafs, and they've worked very cohesively. They've won together. I think that the Leafs team that Dubas built was built for Sheldon Keefe because that's how Keefe coaches. When Tree Living came in and made some moves that I really liked. I really liked the Domi move, the Bertuzzi move. I did not like the Reeves contract, but I liked the thought process of we need some more of that in the lineup. I just wish it would have been somebody different. Yeah. I think that part of this is Sheldon Keefe is having an issue adjusting to this level of play style. And he maybe just doesn't coach that way. Bruce Boudreau doesn't coach that way, right? Maybe Sheldon Keefe doesn't coach that way, right? This is like a Mike Babcock type team in terms of piss and vinegar and that stuff. Not that he should be the coach, but generally speaking, I think that this team Sheldon Keefe might not be best suited for this team anymore.
It's a good thing they signed to a multi-year contract extension at the start of the year.
It's a good thing that they're owned by two telecoms that charge us hundreds of dollars a month for everything. And I don't want to ever hear that they're running out of money. It's
a good thing they're run by half run by a telecom whose internet for me just stopped working today.
Speaking of which, I saw Ed Rogers last night. He was at the restaurant I was at.
Anyway, Reeves is not playing. He's not playing enough to justify a spot in this lineup, let alone at the money he's making, at the term he's made.
You know the Marlies relatively well, right?
Yeah.
Who is down there?
He'll never go to the Marlies.
No. Who is down there? Put him in the press box. Who's down there that could play on the fourth line that would be a better option?
Bobby McMahon.
Thank you. Joseph Blandisi.
he's not even signed an NHL contract, but sure,
but
give him one.
Give him one.
But like literally,
Yeah,
like,
Bobby McMahon.
Bobby McMahon.
Thank you. I knew there was someone.
Like if they're like legitimately, and Bobby McMahon is a bit injury prone. Like he keeps getting hurt, but whenever he is on the ice, like he scored a goal in like 13 straight games last year for the Marlies. Like he is a phenomenal hockey player.
He also, every game I watched him, like first guy to stand up for other guys, always in on the forecheck, always taking the body, block in the way, blocking shots. He can penalty kill. Like he's a Swiss Army knife.
He's a very good hockey player.
And I know that there were other teams that had interest in him. So like he was
put on waivers though, and no one picked him up.
Which is interesting. I wonder if it was just like a timing thing, because I do know
maybe
that
an injuries thing too.
Yeah. I do know that last season teams had pretty good interest in him. And Dubas was hesitant to move him.
As he should be.
So bring him up and put him on the fourth line, which, by the way, David Kampf.
That might be the worst contract that Tree Living signed. Not might. I think that is the worst contract.
Worse than the Reeves one?
Yes. Because Reeves, you can bury him.
Oh, that's
true. They could bury him today if they wanted to.
They're not gonna.
They're not going to.
But they should.
Kampf, there is no reason that a player of his caliber should be getting 2.4 over 4. He's on a 4-year deal.
He shouldn't be getting 2.4 at all. Never mind over 4.
He should be. He's the kind of player who should be getting. He should have like just sort of replicated his last deal, like 1.5 times 2.
Yeah.
And
that would have been fine.
Like that would be.
Why are you
fine.
paying a fourth line player?
A fourth line center who offers zero offensive opportunity.
No, any fourth line player.
Yes, absolutely.
More than $1.5 million. But
like even with a player like him, like first of all, his job is to like kill penalties and be defensive, and
not doing it.
He has not done it this year. But also, like David Kampf offers zero offensive upside, like zero. Like
no,
like
I offer more offensive upside.
Absolutely, you could throw like your sister's dog out there. You could throw
Penelope.
You could throw Penelope down the middle of the fourth line, and she would be
honestly.
A better
She'd probably piss off some bunch of
exactly. Like so it's just. There's a lot going on here, and like there's obviously Samsonov who's struggling, but like I do have confidence that he'll kind of get through it.
I am least worried about the goaltending.
Yes,
I am supremely worried about the defense. And frankly, I'm a little bit worried about the dressing room.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that a little bit of blue and white disease has crept back into that locker room, and I do not like it. I'm not the only one that thinks that either. I think we are not far off from a mammoth trade. Like, I'm talking mammoth.
I think we all know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, hell, they might have to trade Nylander if they can't re-sign him to what he deserves. But
no, you re-sign him. Like,
yeah,
you don't. There is nowhere. Like, even if
don't want. Let's be very clear, because this man just takes the subway to games like a goddamn king, and wears his puffer jacket that's probably worth $5,000.
I would say literally give Nylander like the Huberdeau contract.
Yes,
like at this point,
just hand him the Huberdeau contract. It's gonna age much better.
10.5 over 8. Go for it. Like he will.
I'd be fine if that got signed today.
We've also like this is being sort of like a popular not theory, but like sort of talking point. Is that like the Nylander and Tavares contracts? Just swap them.
Yeah.
Like,
although I think John Tavares, I can see him actually taking even less. I can see John Tavares taking like 4.5.
Yeah, he could take. I see him taking like the Ryan O'Reilly contract.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Because that's just what he is.
He's still got it, man. Like
exactly. Yeah. So I think I have some concern about the blue and white sort of disease creeping into the dressing room. And I truly think that we're not that far off from a mammoth deal.
What about orange and blue disease? Is that a thing? Because whatever disease the Oilers are stricken with, it's
the plague.
It's looking fatal here. Like it is. Like the Oilers have 5 points on the year. It's November 9th. We're basically at Remembrance Day, and they have 5 points on the year. And this is a team with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, Evander Kane,
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins,
Evan Bouchard, Matthias Ekholm, Darnell Nurse. Like I could go on and on.
But they also have,
well, not anymore.
Bad goaltending.
Like So the biggest story was Jack Campbell on waivers.
Yeah.
4 years, including this one, left at a $5 million cap hit.
So I wonder, like, everyone in Toronto sort of wondered why they didn't make an effort to re-sign Campbell.
Because they really didn't. They gave him one really weird offer. Like they offered him like $3 million or something.
But that leads me to believe that at least behind the scenes, they'd done their due diligence.
Yes.
And had said, this is not a guy we believe.
I'm going to eat a chocolate on the podcast. I don't care. I'm going to do it.
They did their due diligence on whatever they wanted to do. And they didn't believe that the year he had was sustainable. And I'm pretty sure Kyle Dubas was proven correct on that one. But that also leads me to believe that Ken Holland didn't do his due diligence clearly.
Well, it's also like, if you remember,
because that contract was...
That was bad from the day he signed it. It was never going to work.
Yeah, that was a lot of money.
Like the best case scenario was that Campbell continued to be a pretty good goalie as he had been with the Leafs, but now with the Oilers. And he probably would have gotten paid like $1 million more than what he probably should have. But that's it. On now, and keep in mind, like Campbell got waived and he cleared, so he's going to Bakersfield for what will hopefully be for him to like find his game or whatever. He had an .873 save percentage this year. It's like that's like ECHL level.
Jesus Christ!
Like legitimately, if you took the Newfoundland Growlers, whichever one of them they're playing, like whether
Keith Petruzzelli.
No, he's with the Marlies now. Whether it's Dryden McKay or Sasha Peska or Pexa, if you put them in an NHL net,
probably would do better.
They would at least match an .873, I think. That's not the worst save percentage on the Oilers.
What?
I believe Stuart Skinner, and I will make sure to have it. Stuart Skinner.
No way, man. There's no way they have both goaltenders in like the 800s.
What do you think Stuart Skinner's save percentage is?
It has to be like at least 895.
Would you put money on that?
No. I would not.
Do you want me to tell you?
There's no way it's below 870. Is it?
Keep going.
Is it below 850?
It's 856.
Jeez!
It's 856.
You can't.
You
literally cannot win with that. I don't care if Connor McDavid scores 500 points. You can't win.
Jack Campbell save percentage this year was so bad that it got him sent to the AHL. Keep in mind, because of this, they'll be taking on, I believe it's a $3.7 million dead cap hit.
Yep.
And Stuart Skinner's save percentage is 20 points lower.
See, and this tells me that there's something going on behind the scenes.
There has to be.
There just has to be.
And keep in mind, this is the same Stuart Skinner that was an all-star last year. I was at the all-star game. He was there.
Yeah, and remember how we discussed how I said that wasn't sustainable?
I mean, obviously.
Like, I was like, okay, I didn't think he was going to be this bad, but I was like, I don't think he's an all-star goalie. I think he's an average NHL goalie.
But he stepped up when they needed him.
Exactly, and that's not happening. They've got Olivier Rodrigue. I'm seeing Linus Ullmark's name thrown around. I'm seeing John Gibson's name thrown around, which like is...
Why would the Bruins do that?
Thank you. Whereas like at least the John Gibson name makes sense.
Because the Ducks will eventually fall off their heater, as we talked about last episode.
Right.
And like Gibson will be able to get them a lot of money, a lot of draft picks. But
provided he isn't the reason they fall off the cliff.
Yes. Even if he is, there's the name recognition. Like
this is true.
Be fine.
But yeah, like the Bruins are not going to trade Linus Ullmark.
They have a great thing going.
What?
No. Like Linus Ullmark won the Vezina last year, and him and Swayman won the Jennings as like the best goaltending tandem.
Yeah,
and
like,
this year
it doesn't even make any sense.
Swayman has like the thing is what people like we look at like players and we see a guy elevate into stardom and we go, all right, well this makes this other guy expendable. Why not just have two really good hockey players?
Well, you see, apparently that is actually not allowed. No, but like you look around and like, okay, Jake Allen makes some sense. but that's risky.
I don't even know how much better that would be.
It's risky. I saw somebody suggest Jordan Binnington, and I was like, that honestly just bring back Jack Campbell.
Apparently, they have like legitimate interest in him. That's what has been reported.
How to blow up your dressing room 101. Genuinely.
Can you imagine having a dressing room with like Evander Kane and Jordan Binnington in it? Like, come on. That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
You couldn't pay me to be in that dressing room. Not for all the tea in China.
So
do you know how much tea there is in China?
There's a lot of tea in China. There's look, you can get away with
you can get away with 9-10 goaltending if you're the Oilers.
You can get away, dude. You can get away with like 905. Like you can like with like if McDavid and Draisaitl are clicking, like
you can get away. Yeah,
you can get away with like, dude. If the Seattle Kraken could win 27 games that Martin Jones started for them last year, and Martin Jones finished with 886, I believe, then the Oilers can get away with that. By the way, don't look up Martin Jones's save percentage.
I'm not going to do that. Okay, so the Oilers are broken.
Spoiler alert, Rachel, it's 864 on the Marlies.
It's still better than Stuart Skinner's.
Yeah, but this is the AHL, so it's a bit different.
Not ideal.
It's tough to see solutions to this Oilers team because literally their biggest problem is goaltending. If you give them like even based on the goaltending they've got this season, if you give them 900 on the dot,
yeah,
we are having a completely different conversation.
I think they have like 5 or 6 more points I was looking at.
Yeah.
With 900.
So then they have like 10, 11 points, and it's still a really bad start, but it is not like...
But it's manageable.
Like tonight, keep in mind, the San Jose Sharks, we had 2 segments back-to-back of them about how they're going to be like the worst team in the cap era.
Yeah.
They finally won their first regulation game like on November 7th.
I won monies on that.
Of course, I'm glad. Unfortunately, they if they had just waited until they played the Oilers and then lost to the Oilers, that would have been the greatest.
I'm angry at Mike Greer for not claiming Jack Campbell and starting him tonight.
Oh, it would have been the funniest thing ever. But
very smart of you, Mike. Well done.
They're playing each other tonight. By the way, if any GM willfully takes that contract on, they should be executed. Like they should they should be put in front of a firing squad. Like it is like if you're an owner and you go like, oh, like
also Plotner's just in Germany like eating his like
let me take a big sip of,
and is just like, excuse me, what is this?
Let me take a big sip of coffee and check the transactions today. I'm sorry, I owe $20 million to who?
Yeah.
For how many years?
Guys having like coffee trinken and is just full on like spitting his coffee on the table.
But the Oilers and the Sharks play each other tonight. Okay. And if the Sharks win, they will have tied the Oilers in points. This is the same Sharks team that has 3 points and that just got its first regulation. That started the Sharks started 0-10-1.
So one of 2 things is going to happen tonight.
What?
McDavid and Draisaitl are going to get 5 points, or the Oilers are going to lose. The Oilers are either going to win like 8-2 or they're going to lose 3-2.
If the Oilers lose, you cannot like leave that game without a consequence of something.
Oh, no. Yeah. No.
And it's a real shame that it will likely be Jay Woodcroft because he is so far not the problem. Like he could not even be close.
It's the Alain Vigneault line. If my goalie is better than your goalie,
yeah,
you win. Or I win. If your goalie is better than my goalie, you win. Well, every single game this year, like literally even the games they've won, every single game this year, the other goalie has been better than the Oilers goalies. Like it's honestly,
they've only won 2 games this year.
It's mind-blowing. And like you look at the faces, like when they pan to like McDavid or Nugent Hopkins or Draisaitl specifically, because he's like angry German mode right now.
But McDavid looks like despondent. Like
he looks like he's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, and why wouldn't he?
And I bet you Draisaitl's like peeling paint off the wall. Like I know what it's like to be an angry German.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enjoyable for other people. That the thing is like. I wonder if the consequence is higher up the chain.
That's what I'm hoping it's that.
Because if you're Jeff Jackson, you're looking at this.
You're going, what
the
hell?
Heck is going on here? do you just take the reins and go, that's it, I'm doing it?
Yeah, I think so. What has Ken Holland done? He's made one good trade.
The Matthias Ekholm
trade. That is basically it. Like in the Ken Holland.
Is it okay? So here's a
hit me. Yeah.
Is it the owner?
Because I don't even know how hands-on the owner is right now.
Very. The most.
But I thought he was dealing with health stuff, so he wasn't as hands-on.
No, he's uber hands-on. He is like Francesco Aquilini hands-on. Yeah. Uber hands-on. Like I'm willing to give Peter Chiarelli,
be careful,
10% of the benefit of the doubt. Because I think at least some of those decisions were not his, based on some conversations I've had. So I wonder how much involvement Daryl Cates has had in some of the decisions that Ken Holland has made. But at what point does Jeff Jackson just say, that's enough?
Like, I'm sure Cates has had some involvement, but like Holland has swung and missed on so many, like you inherit going into a job where you inherit Draisaitl and McDavid, specifically Draisaitl, who's making like a little over $8 million.
It's the best contract in the league now.
Yeah, like you are born on third base in that regard, and he has not, like, the closest he has gotten them to like
is the third round,
is a sweep in the third round.
Yeah.
Like,
of which they got there because McDavid and Draisaitl were like
went nuclear mode, and Draisaitl was doing that on one leg, as well. But like, if you look at like the goaltender that they've saddled the team with, like they saddled the hopes and dreams on Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith.
That was a choice.
You made the third. How good this team is that you made the third round with Mike Smith. And then after that, you went out and you spent so much money on Jack Campbell, and he just got sent to the AHL. Sorry, there's a window cleaner that's like rappelling off of balconies behind you. So I keep
instead of looking at the camera, Mike is looking at the window cleaner that scared the daylights out of me yesterday.
You keep, like, it's the little things. It's the Andreas
Athanasiou
for 2 second-round picks where he plays like 9 games and then you don't re-sign him, you know? Like, it's
I saw somebody propose a Yaroslav Askarov trade that was like, it might be the worst trade proposal I've ever seen in my life. Olivier Rodrigue.
Okay.
A second-round pick.
Oh, you're done. Just stop.
And like some other,
like Raphael Lavoie or someone, like,
no, not even that. Like, let me find it, because like it got quote tweeted to actual hell because it was so bad. No, you like at the wildest. Here it is. The Oilers get Yaroslav Askarov for Olivier Rodrigue, a 4th round pick.
What?
And Vincent Desharnais.
The seaweed man?
Really doubt it would take that much to pry Askarov from the Predators.
This person should be committed, like, to an institution. This person should be institutionalized.
Genuinely? Like,
this person should
Barry
be like,
Trotz did not come down in the last shower of rain. Like, are you out of your mind?
That has to be a joke. It has to be. I can't.
No, then he deleted it because it got like a billion quote tweets. Like, it was so bad that even like the Devils accounts were going after him, and like the Panthers accounts and like the Ducks, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, am I high? Like, what am I reading? I thought I was in like dreaming, basically, like in a dead state.
It is. Yeah, it's wild. Like,
let's just put it out there that if you're getting Yaroslav Askarov, it's gonna cost you a lot more than that. When
you said it as like a 2nd round pick, even then that was bad enough for him. Just like, don't even finish it. It's wrong. Like, it's like, it doesn't matter. But it's a 4th
and 2 AHL players.
Like, maybe Rodrigue can be a good goalie someday.
Okay, but
like, he's young, right? So like but like Askarov is like the best goalie other than Jesper Wallstedt.
Yeah,
like, he's the best goalie prospect out there. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah, like
what was proposed is that Nashville was like wondering if they could go up into like 2nd or 3rd overall this year, to draft someone, and they were dangling Askarov.
Okay, well that's a second
but
overall
that is the
pick.
second or third overall. Like that's so they could get like Leo Carlson or Adam Fantilli and like set themselves up with like a franchise player for the next like 10, 15 years.
And boy, howdy, could Columbus sure use a goalie.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be fine with Adam Fantilli. I think they're going to be fine cool. Too. But like,
yeah, the Ducks don't need a goalie. They got Lucas Dostal and Ollie Eriksson. They are really
and
good.
A resurgent John Gibson apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
But this is like the Oilers. This is as close to a disaster as you can get. And if they lose tonight to the Sharks, like
consequences,
it has to like they're like Ken Holland has to go. No GM has ever inherited a job with like that is better, I would say, than Ken Holland. With not just the like you inherit a job with the two best players.
Well, actually, Peter Chiarelli inherited.
That's true.
Taylor Hall, Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl, and Jordan Eberle.
And he immediately messed it up. So I would say, other than Peter Chiarelli, who's a great bar to have when it comes to job success.
Bim Jennings also.
But even when it comes to talent, he didn't inherit like...
Yeah, but he also... Did you hear the Trevor Linden interview?
Yes.
Oh,
maybe we'll talk about that next episode but like Ken Holland inherited...
I have some background on that.
I'm looking forward to the tea on that one. But Ken Holland inherited a job that had Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl locked in long term for like nearly a decade.
Yeah,
at both value contracts.
Yeah, they're both underpaid.
He had all his first round picks. He had
Darnell Nurse was like a good piece.
Like endless financial sort of like resources as well, because Daryl Cates, he will spend on the team. Like, you know that. And look what's happened. Like not only is
bad for the group,
it's bad for the group. It's bad for keeping like the Oilers. Even if they don't win, like whatever, their job, their Stanley Cup is to keep McDavid and Draisaitl in Edmonton until they are done playing hockey. Yeah,
that's I think McDavid is more likely to stay. I think Draisaitl is like that close to being like, check, please. And you can't even blame them.
How could you blame them?
Because they will go down as the best players to never win a cup if they stay in Edmonton.
It will be catastrophic for the NHL if Connor McDavid never wins a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
It will be like we will start seeing refs like literally put blindfolds on whenever like the other team has the puck. Like the NHL will.
To be fair, I would be on side with just calling the rule book, because McDavid and Draisaitl would draw like 8 penalties each a game.
But like the NHL, like if Connor McDavid, if we get to the point we are now, where like let's say
he's 32.
Like let's say Connor McDavid becomes like if he's in the same spot that like Ovechkin was in before 2018,
right?
Like both him and
Draisaitl,
like the league will like.
There will be a memo to the officials.
To be like, hey, let him win. Like it will.
Like, hey, call penalties on those two, please.
You should be able to, with the resources that you have with the Oilers, with with the draft capital you have, and with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you should be able to surround them with a team that is good enough to have them at least have made a cup final by now.
Yeah.
Even in a flat cap world, you didn't need to sign Darnell Nurse to over $9 million a year. You didn't need
to sign Cody Ceci either.
You didn't need to sign Cody Ceci to that. Like Tyson Barrie got you Matthias Ekholm, so I guess you can chalk that up.
Fine.
As like
I like the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins contract.
Absolutely.
I think that's fantastic.
But you didn't need to sign Jack Campbell.
No.
Like you did. Like there are so many.
You did not need to sign Evander Kane.
You didn't need to sign Evander Kane.
You don't need to trade for Jordan Binnington.
Yes, like there's so many things. Like even with like a guy who is taking up too much of the cap, like Warren Fogle, like you didn't need to get him.
Didn't need to do that either.
Like you could just kept Ethan Bear, like stuff like that.
He would look mighty
great
swell
on there, like just stuff like that. Like you didn't need to burn 2 seconds for Athanasiou, or you didn't need to. There's so many of these deals that just don't work out for them. And Ken Holland, like he hasn't adapted to the cap era.
That's fair.
Like we are reaching the look. He made the conference final in 2022. They got swept by the Avs, but still made the conference final. So I guess that's the pinnacle. But these last 2 years, we're now reaching the like, Justin Abdelkader, Jonathan Ericsson, like buyouts era of when he was in Detroit.
Yeah, it's just,
it's not good enough.
No, it's just not going to cut it. It really isn't going to cut it.
So Rachel,
so this has been an entire episode of This Is Fine.
Yes. Bring up
an entire episode.
Bring up tax write-off the bear.
This Is Fine.
So yeah, or the dog, sorry. So we will see you on Monday, and who knows, maybe by then, the Oilers will have turned something around, or by then.
Maybe they'll have 10 points.
Maybe. Or.
Maybe they'll have 3.
Yeah. So we'll have
or
to
5,
see.
Whatever it is.
Rachel, would you like to leave our listeners with anything before we head out?
I would not. I would like to go replace my cell phone and eat food.
Well, there you go. Take care.